you read all those books? I just do not have the time to read all those books. Oh my gosh. Like, I can't find a book that I'm interested in. I would love to read. I just don't have the time. You read how many books this month? Honey, I'm here to help you. Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and I am so excited that you joined me today. Today, I'm going to be sharing some tips with you to help you incorporate reading more into your daily routine or kind of make it something that you do on the regular. People in my life that don't read are usually the ones that say, Hannah, I would love to read. I would love to be a reader. I just don't have the time. I just can't get invested in a book. I can't do this or I can't do this. And so I'm going to break all those myths today and help you figure out how to make reading a priority and a love. So without further ado, let's get started. If you see me looking down at all, I have got my little list right here. So that's what we're going off of. Tip number 1, find your genre niche. What I mean by that is I think that you should explore different genres and just find which one that you like the most or which ones you like the most. So for example, if you genuinely like true crime, I would pick up some thrillers or mysteries. If you really like romantic comedies, pick up a rom-com. Historical fiction, fantasy, graphic novels, anything that you think that you would enjoy, try it. Because honestly, you never know what you're gonna like until you give it a try. So if you pick up a fantasy book one day and you're like, you know what, that's not for me, at least you know that that's not for you. And then just move on to the next genre until you find one or two that you are just super comfortable with. This goes out to my people who generally say, oh, I don't have time to read a book, or I just can't get invested into a book. And tip number 2 is find books that have fast plots. Usually thrillers are the way to go for that, because if you pick up a thriller, it's normally going to move very quickly and it's going to have twists and turns along the way. If you have not been a reader for a while, then it might take you a minute to get into a book, and if you are reading a very slow, draggy book, that is just going to make you resent reading even more. Find books or find genres that generally have faster plots and that will hook you straight from the beginning. This next tip is my favorite, and that is do not be afraid to DNF. Do not be afraid to put a book down. If you are not enjoying a book and you are just not feeling it at that moment in time, put it down. Close the book, put it down, and walk away, because life is just too short to focus on books that we are not enjoying. There's way too many books out there to waste some time on books that just don't hold our attention. So do not be afraid of not finishing a book. I promise you, I'm here to tell you it's okay. Tip number 4, audiobooks. Audiobooks have been a lifesaver for this teacher, okay? Because there are some nights where I just come home and I'm like, look, physically I cannot look at words, okay? And all I gotta do is stick my AirPods in and just turn on an audiobook and go about my night, and it's just wonderful. It's such an experience, especially if you've got an audiobook that is like a full cast narration and honestly sounds like you're listening to a podcast while you're reading a book. And so I would definitely recommend to explore some audiobooks. Find one of your favorite books or find a book that you think you're interested in and see if it's available on audiobook. Audiobooks are really helpful also because you can literally listen to them anywhere, especially if you have a set of headphones. You can just pop them in your ears and listen to them in the grocery store, listen to them while you're cleaning, in the car, pretty much anywhere. So it's kind of like a book on the go. Tip number 5. Use a Kindle. Now I'm very aware that this one is kind of give or take because I realize that Kindles are expensive and not everyone owns one. But if you can afford one and if you do want to purchase one, I do highly recommend the Kindle Paperwhite. I think it is just wonderful. I have read so many books on my Kindle, especially at night. If you are someone who works all day during the day, then coming home and reading a physical book can be kind of hard. So I tend to read my Kindle most at night because it doesn't really tire out my eyes as much. And I also have the Kindle Unlimited subscription, and that has really helped expand my reading as well. So yes, overall, I just highly recommend a Kindle. Tip number 6 is also a really good one, and that is stop comparing yourself. Oh my goodness. Especially if you are on social media like Book Talk or Bookstagram, it can be really, really tough not to compare yourself to other readers, because if you look at somebody else and they've read 20 books this month and you've read 3, it's kind of like I'm failing at life, honestly. And that can really take a toll on your overall reading. It makes you slumpy and just doesn't help you at all. So please, 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 and I'm preaching to the choir here, please stop comparing yourself to other readers. If you read 40 books in a month, or if you read 1 book in a month, you are still a reader, okay? I promise you, it is okay. Life gets in the way sometimes and it's hard to read that much. But if you are taking your time and you are reading what you love, that is what it's all about. Stop comparing yourself. Oh my gosh. And I'm talking to myself here, okay? Stop comparing yourself. Next tip is to use a goal tracker or a reading tracker. The one I personally use and love is Goodreads. And what I basically do is I go on there and put all the books that I want to read in the future, or all the books on my TBR. And I also have a list of the books that I've read. So it kind of keeps up with all the books that I read in a month, as well as the ones that I've read so far this year. And it really just helps me keep up with the amount of books that I'm reading, or it helps me decide what I would like to read next. Finding yourself a good reading tracker is always beneficial as well. Tip number 8 is to find a community of readers and become part of it. So whether that be on social media, online, Bookstagram, BookTube, Book Talk, all of those social media platforms have a ton of readers that are just eager to talk about books with you. Being a part of something is so beneficial for your reading because it gets you really excited to try books, and honestly, try books out of your comfort zone. Any way that you can connect with other readers, even if you have like a local library that does an in-person book club. I would love an in-person book club, but nobody around here does that, and it makes me so sad. So I'm personally part of the BookTube community, obviously, but just connecting with other readers and being a part of a bookish community can be a huge help to read more. And my last tip is just a little bit harsh, and that is just simply make time. So this is going out to my people who usually say, I wish I would be a reader, but I just don't have the time. And honestly, I have not met a person yet who is not busy in their everyday life. At the end of the day, if you are serious about reading more and you want to become a reader this next year, just simply make time. If you have time to watch a TV show, if you have time to sit on your phone for hours and scroll, if you have time to watch YouTube, then you also have time to pick up a book. So just kind of be aware of how you're using your time and just use that time to pick up a book. And there you have it, my friends. Those are my personal tips on how to read more or how to become a reader this next year. I think that it is such a beautiful thing to love reading. I think reading is just one of the many beautiful things in life. And honestly, it makes me so sad when people say that they don't like to read or that they just don't have time to read. I promise you, if you just get started, you will not regret it. If you got this far into the video, please let me know down below if you are going to be using any of these tips, and if you have any more to add, please let me know that as well. Don't forget to leave me a book emoji or a clock emoji because we all have time to read. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you next time. Bye!